Hello, good morning. Well, my time has changed for live stream. Typically, it's every Tuesday at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time, but today because I'm actually traveling for the first time in a very many years, I wanted to not cancel my stream and being able to come on here a couple hours earlier so that I can answer all of your questions either if you are interviewing at Amazon, at Meta Facebook, at Google, whatever company it is of your choice, I am here for you. A little bit about me if this is your first time tuning in, my name is Holly Lee. I am a career coach, but I spend 25 years in the recruiting industry from leadership recruiting to leading the hiring initiative to training hiring executive for a lot of the big company as well as the startups in my career. As mentioned earlier, if you have questions, if you have failed interview in the past before, or you have in the loop process or in the active interview process, I do live stream every week in answering your questions. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, because it really does help the algorithm so that my channel can continue impacting a lot of the job seekers, especially for those who are affected by the pandemic. Okay. I don't know if anyone is watching. Penny, I appreciate you for being here. But if you're just tuning in here, I wanted to talk about why I left the FANG companies. That is in my thumbnail if you haven't seen that. A lot of the YouTube community member, as well as LinkedIn members, my member, my VIP coaching cohort, basically, I have a whole ton of people asking me the same questions. Holly, you talk so much about Amazon. Why did you leave? Why did you leave Meta Facebook? Because, you know, if you haven't heard, Facebook or Metaverse now is doing a lot of great things moving into the technology speed. So I wanted to spend a quick few minutes to talk about that, and then I will answer your Q&A. Okay? So, as mentioned, I grew up in the startup world a very long time ago. I love every single part of my experiences. I'm a true believer that there's absolutely no regrets in any decision that I make, good or bad, because I know that even with experiences that are let's call it different and not negative, you always learn from it. Okay. And please do take everything that I say with a grain of salt. This is purely from my personal experience. Um, actually, when I started my career very earlier on in the first recession, not this one, the last one in 2008, I believe it was, I was actually a staffing lead. A staffing lead is a people manager for Microsoft. That was my first big FANG company. At Microsoft, I actually really loved my job. I love my job because of the culture, at least at the time, right? I'm pretty sure they've changed a lot. Um, from over what 13 for 15 years ago. Excuse me. There I felt like what I really love about the culture is that the hiring leaders, for instance, I supported Kevin Brown at the time, and he was the fella that invented Windows, and he was one of my major clients, one of the many projects I was participating in owning all of the, they call them SDET at the time, software engineering in test. It was really cool being a new person. I would just literally schedule an appointment with him, knock on his door, come over. And I remember him telling me, Holly, the suit and the suit, the whole suit, just cut it out. No suit. Just show up with a t-shirt. By the way, what are you doing? Why are you standing next to my door? Just take a seat on the couch. It was so personable. So I loved my time at Microsoft for that. I felt like the people were very respectful. I didn't really leave Microsoft. I was laid off. It was really bad during the 2008, 2009 time. Most of most of sold in the recruiting and the sales environment were laid off, and my entire team was affected at that time. Luckily, I was able to. I went to a Thanksgiving dinner, actually, a family friend, very close family friend. More so, we jokingly call ourselves family members or cousins, and one of them worked at Google. And at that time, I'm like, wow, it would be so cool if I could work for Google. I don't know if I'm good enough. I mean, Google's bar is so high. Who's going to hire me? Right. So I remember him telling me, and my friend is now leading recruiting for Apple. But during back in the days, he used to tell me, Holly, why don't you give me your resume and I'll get you an interview. Let me see if I can get you an interview at Google. So I did. Things moved very, very fast at the time, right? Not anymore. At the time, it moved really fast. I had a phone interview literally almost the following day and on site literally within that first 3 days or so. And then I had an offer at that evening to join Google, and I was there for a couple of years. Um, I Google is, if I have to think about a company that really spoiled the employee, it got to be Google. When it comes to employee happiness, um, I love the people. I love my managers. I love my team. A lot of the great friends I have right now, or when I left Google and went to Amazon, I work for the same person, right? So I love the people. That's telling you employee happiness right there. And at the time, I was just, I would say I was fairly senior in my career. This is then, we're talking about 12 years ago or so. I just felt like in me, there's something that is missing, and I don't know what it is. And during that time, when I left Google, my friends, my family, Googlers, they call them, they're all telling me, Holly, you're crazy. Really? You're going to leave Google for Lab 126? It's not even real. It's not even Amazon. You're leaving Google for this. And I'm like, yeah, because let me tell you why, okay? Because I get to own the physical product all by myself. For instance, again, this is out of my personal experiences, okay? At Google, I was hiring. I was a senior recruiter. I hired all of software engineering for all of Google software products. Think about Maps, Gmail, basically all the software stuff. And I did all of that within 6 months. I basically feel all of the recs, right? And I start asking myself, now what? And then I moved to a platform data center. So I would hire all of the engineer building out the data center for Google. And then after that, I'm thinking, okay, now what? And then I was not the only recruiter, by the way. There's about 1,500 of me in there, all going after the same thing. Then I stepped foot into hardware. That's where I really fell in love. I did, God, what did I do? I remember owning the fiber optic stuff. I remember owning, I hired the first mobile engineer for Google, all of that stuff. The thing about Google that I love so much is that all of you guys are loving Google, because when I reach out to folks and they would say, Holly, it is such an honor and a pleasure to be reached out by Google. So I just didn't feel any challenge for me personally. I just felt like making a hire was so easy, where I want to learn something different. I want to be more statistic. I can't talk. Strategic. There you go. English is my fourth language, y'all. Cheers. Okay. I just felt like working at Google for me was just, I wasn't being challenged because everybody wanted to work for Google, and I didn't even have a hard time closing a candidate because Google also paid very well. So everything was perfect. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you, I left my job at Google because everything was just so perfect and I was just on fire. I was no age. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. I was just at the age where I was hungry, I was thirsty, I want to learn something different, right? Google did teach me everything about the tech stack. I didn't really know what true software engineering was, what all the different test automation was, what white box, black box, manual testing, algebra methodology, SDET. I didn't know all of that until Google really break me down and tear me apart. I love that. Because of that, thank you, Google. I took that experiences and I went to Amazon, which at the time everybody made fun of me, people. Everyone did, because it was Lab 126, the R&D environment. If you know anything at all, past, like way past 10 years ago, Lab 126 or Kindle was nothing. When people hear Kindle and they hear Apple, they run the other way, right? That's what I love about it, because I wanted to work for an underdog. I wanted to work the things that are harder for me to persuade my candidates, all of you guys, and why you should leave a lot of money on the table from Apple and work for us at Amazon at the time. the cool thing is during that time when I get on the phone with candidates like you guys, I can't even tell you that Lab 126 was a group of Amazon. A group of Amazon group of companies. I can't even say that because even though Lab 126 was acquired by Amazon almost immediately, we were not allowed to say that at the time. And I loved it. I have issue, right? Yes, I know. I have a lot of issue. So I have always been so driven where I'm always thinking and finding things that are harder so that I can exercise my brain muscles and learn. And that's really why I went to Amazon. I loved every single thing I've done at Amazon. It was hard. It was a long hour. I was having so much fun. The people are really smart, but there's a lot of people from Google. We moved together. We're basically working somewhat in the same team and we trust each other. And we were having such a good ball, you know? There ain't no free food, okay? There's no free soda, there's no free anything at Amazon, but I loved it because the work itself was so exciting. If you have an executive walking to your cubicle and say, Holly, you know what? The holiday is approaching very soon, and man, I need this person to start, and I can't close him. I used to work with him before, but I need this person to start. If not, the next generation of paperwork is not going to be in the market, and I believe this is going to be a sold out product. This is going to be one of the best things that Kindle have ever built. And I looked at him like, wow, that's so inspiring. So I gave my mom a call after that conversation, and I say, "Mom, by the way, I'm flying a red eye. I'll be there. I have to close a candidate, and just for one night, depending on my mood, if there's a flight back home, first thing in the morning, I'll jump right back." So that's exactly what I did, all out of my own expenses, by the way, because when I started out at Amazon, I wanted to be a consultant, a contractor, because I wanted to try it before longevity, right? I'm a true believer. Once I'm FTE, I want to stay with a company long term. So I don't want to just accept an offer and end up quitting. So that's what happened. I was at Amazon for a long time. I worked for different groups or different team. In fact, I left Kindle and relocated to Seattle. Woohoo! Not Seahawks, still 49ers, by the way. I'm very sore with the game. The game on Sunday. Let's not talk about that. But that's why I'm here in Seattle because I left my job. And you also have to re-interview, by the way, when you switch team within Amazon here to become a lead. So I became a people manager for Amazon, for corporate. Not because I wasn't challenged enough. It's just that I'm such a big fan of Amazon as a company. God knows how much money I spend every single month buying everything on Amazon, and I'm so curious to know how AWS work, how the engine of Amazon work, integrating all of the technologies such as Kindle, my first baby per se at Amazon. Right, I loved it. That's even better. I blew up in Seattle by having a chance to do international recruiting. Traveling all over the world with a group of bar racers, level 6, 7, and 8. They trained me how to do tech interview. Woohoo! Who are the tech folks here? Hands up. Software engineer, TPM, UX, UI designer. I've done all of that. Program managers, product managers. So all of that stuff. So I felt like from a hardware perspective, now I'm learning everything about software. And I've done it for about 5 years or so in Seattle. And I loved it. I loved every single piece of it. Worked my tail off. And then one day I said, you know what? I've done it. I've traveled. Check. I work for the top company. Check. Are you still challenged? Hell yes. At Amazon, you never, ever. Did I mention ever? Stand still, right? Everyone know that, by the way, if you want to know the culture, go check out my most recent interviewed with Shelly, a good friend of mine who was an ex Google and as well as an ex Amazon. Okay, I cannot bring current Amazonian because there's an NDA they have to fill out. There's like a whole laundry list of things for them to come to my show. My show. What am I saying? Yeah, my show, my video podcast right here, guys. Okay, are you still with me? If you guys are still with me, don't forget to smash that like button. Okay, it really does help the algorithm. All right. Ooh. Well, now that I'm asking you to smash that like button, I can't get rid of the like button. So weird. Anyway, ignore that part. So, I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to be a mom. I've been with Amazon for at that time 6.5, 7 years or so, and just a little background to share a little bit more information of why I make such a drastic decision in up and leaving. I really love my time at Amazon. Do you hear my tone? Are you guys listening to my passion? It's the work that I do, is the people that impacts my life. My best friends are Amazon bar raisers and managers because we were like this. We were traveling. We were working so hard together. There are nights where I had to order pizza because we have to debrief 30 to 50 people a night. True story. When we were in Madrid, Spain. Oh, by the way, talking about Spain. Woo, woo, what's up? Spain, right? I used to collect Starbucks mugs because I was traveling so much. And guys, here's a kicker. I left Amazon 4 years ago and I am still using my last point to book my trip to Hawaii with my son. Actually today, which is why I have to push the live stream earlier. Yeah, that's how much I used to travel for Amazon. This is like years later. I'm still using my point. So if anyone is complaining about the culture is too much, it's too hard, it's not a good fit for you. The culture calls for a certain type of personality. The culture did not change you. You have to find the right environment for you. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I get so many questions. I get yelled at. I get yelled at, yes, indeed, in my YouTube channel about I don't understand why you are coaching people to work for such a toxic environment. Did you hear me talk about come work for Amazon? They don't sponsor me. I do it because truly I'm still jazzed. When I have this YouTube channel, I don't this is not an Amazon channel. I'm just simply answering all of your question because Amazon is the premier only company that has so many roles, unlimited amount of position all day, every day, 24 by 7. Okay. When I became a parent, I told myself, wow, there's no way I can work 6 hour, 8 hours a day. It's not going to happen at Amazon. Not because I can't, it's because I'm so obsessed with delivering to my customer, which is you guys, the job seeker, right? Getting on the phone with you, prepping you for the interview, looking for you, putting you in the loop, all of that stuff. And I was managing a team. I was managing a team of 15, 20 people at the time. Was 22 people? I don't know. I lost count. And then I also have my stakeholders. I have over 60 plus hiring leaders that I support on all of Alexa, right? Alexa services worldwide. So because I'm so obsessed, I know that if I become a mom, I don't want to put my baby aside and focus on my job and that's all I care about. I care about my son. My son come first. That's why I left and made a Facebook to work with one of my really really old friend. That we have gone through 3 or 4 companies together. Wow, actually a lot. Tech Systems, Google. I took her to Google. We work at Amazon together, and then she took me to Oculus, Meta Oculus, AR VR. So we work for 4 companies together. As you can see, I am a true believer in working for people who knows your background and knows you. Facebook, it is a really good company, people, really good company. I talk about being spoiled with employee happiness at Google. Facebook does something very, very similar. And the only reason why I left is because, well, the reason why I joined is because I love gadget. I love devices, hardware, consumer electronic, the AR, VR, Oculus. I have all of the headset, by the way. Some people actually ask me, yes, I do. I'm not a gamer at all, but because of Oculus, I beta test so many products and services. I fell in love with AR VR. I left because I realized even though the work life balance was there, at least for me at Facebook, the people were phenomenal. I love my team. I love my team. Um, you know, and you're spoiled. They give you. You guys could Google it, right? I don't have to tell you all of that stuff. It's a nice environment. There's a couple things, right? The first thing is that the speed, how they move, is not as fast as Amazon. They're very cautious in making decisions, right? Versus a lot of approval because you guys have to understand companies like Facebook and Amazon, their software company, which is Google, when it comes to software company, hands down, Google is the best software company in the world. Professor Austin, what's up? Everybody say hello to my friend Professor Austin. Go check out her YouTube channel. She has a phenomenal channel when it comes to resume and branding. And this is a girl that I actually was one of my I call him Star Strike when I started my YouTube channel 3 years ago. So good to see her. So back to my story. The reason why I left Facebook was because I wanted to be a parent. You know, it sounds really weird. I know someone, I actually have good friends who wanted to smack me, like literally smacked me, right? And of course, as soon as I quit my job, the pandemic hit. I'm like, what? Had I known that, I would have never left my job. I met at Facebook because they treat their employees extremely well, guys, so well. But I really miss being a mom and I felt really bad, even though the work life balance was there. Um, I would come home, but as you guys know, when you start a new job, mentally you're so exhausted, right? Because you want to do well, you care, and I had to build a team from ground up. I inherited a team of 12 and then go through so many reorg because AR/VR, the technology alone is so new. The hiring team alone is just barely, fairly new. So they're migrating between Oculus AR/VR to just Facebook general at the time on specializing machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? So there's just a lot of reorg going on as well. And in the same time, I felt like, yes, even though I was able to build a recruiting team from scratch, yes, we were able to meet our initiative. But my baby, I don't have time to be with my baby. And I hire a nanny. I just did not feel like a good person. I didn't feel like a good mom, so I quit. When I quit, honestly, guys, I started the YouTube channel because I I love YouTube. I change my the caulking around my bathtub, YouTubing. I fix my sink, my pipe on YouTube. I'm like, I'm all about YouTube. And I thought, you know what? I don't know if I can work for another employer anymore because I really love being a mom. I wanted to take at least a couple years off and just learning this new role of mine being motherhood. And I want to know if I could actually generate revenue having a YouTube channel. I don't know, right? Let me go ahead and take a course so I can be a great career coach. Just because you come from a recruiting background and work for all this fame company does not mean you could be a great career coach. Let me tell you, people, okay? Let me tell you. I thought I was good in what I do, right? Because I have what, 20 plus years of experience. I want to apologize for all of you who are new clients of mine in the very beginning. Yes, I did a fairly decent job, but I'm learning through my customers in the last 3 years, hundreds of them, because I've literally looked at the my data last night with one of my team members where I'm able to help a lot of folks by constantly reconstructing my VIP coaching program, by the way, which is right here. If you guys are interested to check it out, if you have one fail attempt job interview with any FANG employer, not just Amazon, right? Number two, if you are lost in the career transition and don't know, because as it is, 95% in the VIP coaching doesn't come from a FANG employer. I do have Microsoft folks in there. I do have my Apple folks, a couple can't talk, Apple folks in there, but majority of them come from like financial institutions such as Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. You see my video endorsement on my YouTube channel from the VIP member. They came from insurance company, healthcare company, right? Consulting management company. So I get a lot of those as well. Okay. So there you have it. That is why. So the best company I have ever worked for is Holly Lee and Associate. Okay. And if you are just really stuck trying to create your story, don't forget to download right here my star template, because this right here is the most innovative thing that I've ever done in my career, and that is at Amazon. I talked about how I'm able to get a budget approval from Jeff Bezos at the time, right-hand arm, which is Jeff Wilke. Everyone knows him. He's the CEO of Consumer, at least at the time. All of that, I can talk about the most innovative thing, the business impact, in less than 1 minute out of that story. So, folks, do not skip that. Okay? All right, let's go and answer some Q&A. Love to see your live stream pop up in my feed. Thank you, Professor. Okay, hello, Penny. How are you? Moose, hello, Moose. By the way, member chat is off today. That is because, honestly, I don't even think anyone will show up because my afternoon live stream, all of you guys, if you're new, let me know you are new. If you have questions for me, please put the giant Q in front of your questions so I can get to you as soon as possible, okay? Gurav, hello, Gurav. How are you? Which Gurav is this? Is this my Gurav? Because I did have a Gurav who is now a senior SA solution architect at Amazon, getting my GURF together. Itun, hello, Itun. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce your name correctly. You welcome, of course. Fawaz, hello, Fawaz. I got some Resume Accelerator folks in here. How are you? Purple, hello, Purple. Nirmal, hello, Nirmal. Quantica, hi, Holly. 5 of us are waiting in the other channel. The other channel? Oh no, there's another channel. I'm sorry, guys. This is the channel. I am so sorry. I'm also trying something new with my stream. It's really weird. I changed out my stream deck. A stream deck meaning, pressing a button for all that. I did not realize that once I do that, things change. Oh no, I'm so sorry, guys. Can you please migrate over here? My apologies. I'm sorry. God, I'm fired. I cannot do anything administrative. It just doesn't work. Hi, John. How are you? It's been 7 months since I moved. Oh, Belltown to Orca. Oh, John. My John. Hello, John. To work for Amazon Prime Air. Thanks again for all your help. Whew. Yes. Yes, John. Yes. Thank you so much for coming by. I love folks. I call everybody members, clients, community pay members. I call them members because I feel like referring someone as a client reminded me of the doctors and nurses white coat and blue coat. So I just didn't like the feeling of that. Well, thank you so much for making the time and stopping by. Purple. Purple. Ashe. I love you. Well, I love you too, Ashe. Eric, hello, Eric. Why is it a bad idea to apply directly to a company? Excellent question. Let me make this smaller. Like by identifying who to talk to as opposed to going through the standard application process. Excellent. Eric, I'm going to assume that you have already watched my it's called Amazon online process. If you haven't, go check out that video. It's one of the most recent video from 2 weeks ago. It's not a good idea to apply to any big FANG company directly. Let me explain. Because even prior to the pandemic, each one of the job opening have anywhere between a couple hundred to 500,000 applicants as it is. Okay. If you are one of the hot, I call them hot background or skill sets such as software engineer, SDM, software engineering managers, program managers, product managers. So a lot of the common positions that software company have a lot of openings, right? There's so many applicants. The recruiters don't have time to sit in front of the computer and search through the ATS system. One, they're going through the inbox for referrals, okay? Two, a good recruiter, a seasoned recruiter likes to hunt. If you hunt, it saves them time. I repeat, recruiters love to hunt because it saved them time. It saved me time. For example, if I'm looking for someone with your background, if I go to LinkedIn, developer call coding languages. Recruiters call them Boolean searches. Okay, so if I Boolean search, I want someone, example from Seattle that codes in Java that has at least 10 years experience that came from Microsoft. I'm totally making all of that up, and boom. I only want to see the first 50 to 100 applicants. I don't want to see 50 million applicants, okay? So if I do a search in the internal applicant tracking system, by now it's 1 million applicants at least. They don't have time for that. I mentioned this in my recruiter call video that in order for a recruiter to keep their job in any employer, you have to accept the offer. So you guys do the math, right? It's a lot faster for them to result in job offer if they look for you or you're going through a referral versus applying to a job. If you're interested in that, go check out my networking playlist where I'm walking you through with a template in how to network with hiring leaders. Even if you have to reach out to recruiter, that's 1,000 times better than applying to a job directly. Okay? Eric, my friend, let me know if that makes sense. James, hello, James. Good seeing you here. Hello, Holly. Is there a limit on the number of interviews I can have with Amazon? Well, Yes and no. And let me explain why. Because at Amazon, you have to, it depending on the feedback, okay? Depending on the feedback, if you are a culture fit, meaning that in your interview you demonstrate that you could figure things out on your own and you're productive, those are the two highly evaluated skills at Amazon. If the recruiter says, you know what, try again next year, 6 months, they kind of hint you in that area. But normally, if you would listen to yourself, and my first recommendation, you see this. Oh, this is my son, by the way. My amazing cell phone, I highly recommend that you record yourself and you can see where you fall apart. If you are not able to articulate your answer, they're not going to re interview you for at least 6 months to a year. So it is a catch 22, or I should say, it's a loaded question. So it really depends on your feedback. I'm confident in making that comment because literally 99.9% of every single soul landed in my VIP coaching program have failed the interview from 1 to 6 times, guys. True story. 1 to 6 times in average, 3 times. Worse, Amazon and all the FANG company and Amazon again. I don't know why you guys do that. You keep on going through the same routine and the same pattern without fixing it. Okay, so that is a quick answer for you. Really depending on where you have failed. So bridge the gap rather than re-interviewing again and again and again. Okay? Jaya, hello, Jaya. Purple is my community manager. Everybody, please say hello to Purple. Spade in the house. I know. Where's my coffee? Avinash. Hello, Avinash. First time in your live session, I got a mail from Amazon Recruiter for senior operations non-tech. After a week in portal, it's showing no longer under consideration. The one thing that you guys have to be mindful of when it comes to the applicant status, erase that off of your mind. It means nothing, okay? It could just means that the recruiter is in the mood to reject all the candidates. It could mean a number of things. I'm saying this with someone who's been in recruiting for 25 years, okay? If the recruiter's not getting back to you, that means you don't meet the bar. Okay. And if you're really interested in this, Avinash, if you're trying to land a job, I highly recommend my branding. This is a discounted link, by the way. This is my resume and my LinkedIn Accelerator in one price. Okay, in one price for my community member right there. Should you be interested? Because guys, you need to learn how to fix your branding, because in your branding it helps you in creating stronger answers. I don't want to be cheesy and talk about storytelling, but really it's storytelling, right? It comes from your branding first before you get to your story. When you got no branding and no self-awareness, you know you're not going to be able to talk about relevant topics in providing high level but in-depth answers to your interviewer. Okay, this is not just for Amazon, this is for any employer. But I tell you this though, if you're able to learn the interview process and ace it to get a job offer, you will be able to get an offer in all the other FANG companies. That's been the truth so far, because the bar is very high in diving deep at Amazon. Gary, hello, Gary. I see senior TPM and my eyes are all over you, Gary. Is it hard to get promoted from level 6 to level 7? If so, what is the usual time frame? Senior TPM. It is hard. It's very, very hard. Let me tell you why. Well, it depends. There's two questions here. Okay. First question is it hard? Yes. It is hard because a level 6 at Amazon, your scope and your scale is already a director at Facebook, Google, and Microsoft. Please forgive me, other FANG employer. I know that you guys don't agree with me, but every single person who are ex-Amazonian at those companies, including myself, can vouch for me. Go check out my TPM video with Shelly. There's two different pieces of content, by the way. One is comparing TPM and PM and SDE at Google and Amazon, and the other one is just everything about the program management and TPM role at Amazon, right? You can hear the big difference because your goal is you're not just sharing a project or scope of the ownership with a team. It's you. You're it, okay? You're owning everything from A through Z. So if you're a level 6 at Amazon, it's level to level move. I mean, as far as the pay rate and your leveling, But when it comes to your scope and responsibility, it's much, much more wider at Amazon, okay? A level 7, a senior manager, it's relevant to like an M2, like a Facebook, for example. But in reality, it's more like a VP at Meta. I'm sorry, Meta Facebook. You know what I'm talking about, okay? I love the company so much, but the bias action is not like an Amazon. And you're also comparing apples and oranges, right? I'm not saying that to bash any employer. If you look at Amazon, it is a company that only cares to innovate to do what? Generate revenue, right? Every single thing they do, if you look at all the products and services, they tie in together. AWS, what? The cloud, right? Tying to what? All of the consumer electronic. To tie to what? .com, where you spend all of your money. I know all you guys spend all your money on there. That's how Amazon think. It's a genius. And then you compare that with like the Google, the Microsoft, and then the Meta Facebook. They are focusing on like the portal or the .com or it's like you can't really tie all the products and services together like Amazon. I think that's one of the reasons. That's just again my own personal experience where when I think about deliverables and really scalability of a company, I just feel that they're really struggling in scaling. Okay, they're struggling in scaling into making a brand that's extremely successful globally. Where Amazon, that's what they do. They did it from the get go. They did it within the first 10 years. When they started Amazon. So that's a difference between the two. So when you're asking me basically why is it so hard to get promoted from 6 to 7, from 6 to 7, generally it will take. I have never seen a 6 to a 7 within 2 years ever. I haven't. Hey, it could happen, but I haven't. I think it also depends on the role, right? For example, I'm in recruiting. In HR, people get promoted very fast. Yes, like within a couple years, they go from 6 to 7. I'm like, what? And HR functionality is more process driven and working on employee relations with internal employee. I'm in the recruiting side, which I bring in the goods. I bring in the bacon. All of you guys, I bring the bacon into the workforce and I train them. It's just weird. I think it depends on the org but in general, I've seen anywhere between I want to say 3-4 years to even 15 years to get promoted. Yeah, true story. From a 6 to a 7. All of the people I know at Amazon who got promoted to a level 7 takes them about 10 years, 8 to 10 years. Okay. Hey, don't take what I say and don't just think, oh my God, I'm never going to promote it. Again, it's case by case, depending on your experience, depending on how well you are able to communicate with cross-functional team. The one skill I will tell you, if you want to go up here, okay, up here, dealing with ambiguity. You have to be able to deal with ambiguity extremely well in order for you to consider any kind of promotion. Because being on the people manager table, if you're sitting in, they call the performance review, where we talk about the promotion process, everyone needs to know you. If people don't know you on the table, which is a lot, your skip level will be there. Your skip level will be there. You know what I'm saying? Everyone needs to know you. If they don't know your name, if they don't know what you've done, if what you've done doesn't wow everyone in there, you're not going to be a level 7. Okay? They're not going to promote level 7 that often in any company, not just Amazon, by the way. Okay? So, with that in mind, I just gave you everything you need to know about the promotion process at Amazon. I have an interview this week, Gaurav. I have an interview this week with Amazon at L5 Automation in FinOps. All right, FinOps. It is my first round telephonic interview. Could you please help me with the finance processes I should know or any tips? What do you mean finance processes? You're interviewing for automation in FinOps. What does that have to do with finance? Are you talking about compensation or salary negotiation? Gaurav, please specify this. And guys, the reason why I have paid YouTube members, if you are interested in this, please click the join button in this video as we're going live right now. That's preventing some of you guys, I'm watching you right now, by repeating yourself. It's just spamming the community. Every now and then I've had supermodel coming in here. I've got all kinds of things going in here. That's what the pay membership is for, starting at $3.99. So you could ask Q&A in the live stream every single week, okay? Um, and please specify, Gaurav, what do you mean by finance processes? I'm not really sure what you meant by that. I have an interview in 30 minutes. Well, best of luck to you, Lesby. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Dario from Peru. Hello. Barrio. Buenos dias. James, you are new. I feel like every time when I change my live stream, um, it's different audience. I'm getting different audience. I am more of a night person. If I can do one in the morning, keeping my Tuesday, and one in the late evening, I will love it because I got so many folks from either Australia to Southeast Asia that could never attend any of my live stream. Oh, and by the way, talking about that, Sylvia, girl, my VIP coaching member, landed a job offer at Meta. Sylvia, you here? Sylvia probably can't make it because I changed the time of my live stream, but she landed her job offer as a VIP member for 2 months. All right. They moved. Oh, they moved here. Thank you so much, Conita. Jay, hello, Jay. Ooh, cute baby. Look at this boy. Jay says, "Hi, Holly. I have an upcoming interview for a release of Info Specialist Medical Records, remote for new Amazon care." Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know they have such a position. That's awesome. I actually grew my career in healthcare for a while before I get into recruiting. It was healthcare recruiting way before the tech company. That's awesome. This is a new sector for them. Any tips? I'm prepped. I have healthcare background. Awesome. You still need to create your story. Amazon is always going to have different vertical meaning, like software, hardware, healthcare, so on and so forth. But as far as the hiring bar, it hasn't changed. Okay, Jay? You still have to be able to deliver how you're able to make an impact to your customer. You guys have to be very clear in every single one of your answer and make it pop. Okay? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're working for who? Amazon as a culture and as a company. All right? I cannot give you any tip that's different from all the other role. You need to have at the bare minimum at least y'all 20 story or you're not going to make it. At least. Okay? I say this with a lot of love and a lot of care because if you guys really look at the type of interview questions, I know for the most part, I have a digital course. Okay, let me just tell you more about that. A lot of, I would say a lot, 2 member out of, many folks who result in job offer complain that, Holly, you don't teach a whole lot about leadership principle. I want a refund. I mean, first of all, I don't teach you the leadership principle. Yes, of course. I can guide you to the whole playlist I already have on my YouTube channel, but a lot of the content, I've actually created a template. It's in my VIP and my Start Interview Accelerator digital course. It's a template of question. Okay. It's never seen before in any of my YouTube content. That took a really long time, guys, because I was actually participating in helping Amazon create the interview question. The Bible is thick. It's really paper thick. I trimmed it down to 27 questions for all of you guys. Yes, those are also the questions from all of the companies. And guess what? Yes, they're copying the same question. Why? It's the obvious. A lot of the hiring folks from Amazon, they merge to other companies, so they influence the hiring team to use similar type of questions to dive deep into your background. Now more than ever, I've seen a lot of the companies starting to dive a little bit deeper in the interview process. Okay, that is why I like to use the Amazon interview process and the way how they evaluate their core value, which is the culture, the leadership principle, into acing all of the other employers' standard. Okay, I don't talk and tear down every single leadership principle because there's 16 of them. You're going to be working with me like for 6 months to a year. Rather than doing that, my teaching is focusing on the actual interview questions. Earlier on, I talk about my STAR template. Go download that. It's also in my main YouTube channel, by the way. It says STAR template. Just go to my channel art. If you look at that, it meets the leadership principle about 100%. Right? So, do you want me to waste your time, months and months and months, teaching you the leadership principle and create 2-3 story? That's like asking you to get 65 plus stories Do you want that? Or do you want 20 stories that I know that every single one of them makes me fall out my chair because you can pass my mock interview and peer-to-peer mock interview, because a lot of them are hiring leaders even up to VP level. Okay? So that is VIP coaching. A lot of you guys, when you come to me and you're like doing this, I mean, Holly, what? You don't really talk a whole lot about the LP. I don't talk a whole lot about the LP because guess what? I also took the bar racer training course as well. I know exactly how Amazon works, okay? There are a lot of ways to talk about that. If you guys really want to pay for an LP course, sure, I'll put it on the market, but why are you paying me? It's free. Go to amazon.com/career. That's it. By the way, that link is also in my description in this video that you're watching right now. So I feel like some of you guys are thinking too deep. I need you to come back to the service so you're not wasting your time. Okay? Talking about time, because I'm sorry, I have to move camera number 1. I have a flight to catch. So I have to look at the time really quick here. Okay, we got a little bit more time. Anouk, hello Anouk, how are you? Anouk says, can you please share some details about Loop interview and some tips on how to prepare for it? Sure. Actually, ironically, there's a video on Loop's interview that's coming out sometime next week. It's in the making right now. And also there is actually a video that's called On-Site Loop Interviewed. It is under the Amazon Leadership Principle Question and Example. I need to change that playlist. I hate using the word Amazon Leadership Principle. Let me tell you why. Because I feel like everyone woke up and became a content creator, which is cool, but everyone talks about the same thing over and over and over again. So when I see that, I wanted to be standalone and talk about things that are a little bit different, because I value originality and authenticity. So when everyone is talking about the same thing, I like to go to the different directions. Okay. So if you can do me a favor and take a look at that, I actually have a video to walk you through, and where I've talked about Q&A as well. But the bottom line is, you are not going to go to a Loop interview unless you have all of your stories. Okay. All of them. You need to ask yourself and rate yourself, are you ready for the interview? If you don't know, then I would probably move it out. And by the way, every single one of my member that I've ever worked with in a VIP coaching, 100%. Okay. They know they're not here right now because I've changed the live stream time. All of them push out the interview for at least a month and sometimes 2 months, because the on-site loop is very tense. It's intensive. Okay. It's about the questions to go dive deep. And it's also about following up with 4 to 5 probing questions per each and every single questions. That is why when you talk more than 1 minute in your answer, you're going to lose them. People get bored so quick right now. Their attention span is less than 8 seconds because of the pandemic, because they're so tired of being in the virtual world, in interviewing and meetings day in and day out. The last thing they want to do is interview you. Let's be honest here. Okay? So the quicker you get to your answer, the better it is. Gurv says, wow, I just realized how lucky I am as I applied directly to Amazon and got an interview. Yes, it's really rare. It's more rare than you think. Hi, Ming. Ming says, oh, let me do here. Ming says, I just got selected by the recruiter for AWS security engineer. Good for you. What are some things I should prep other than STAR for each of the 16 leadership principles? Did you not hear what I just said? Scroll up what I just said, Ming, okay? Also, for AWS security engineer is all over Glassdoor, my friend. Go check out. There's a lot of specific technical question relating to the role on Glassdoor for you, my friend. Cap and Tierra. Hello, Cap and Tierra. Thank you for your videos. They're valuable to understanding this process. You're welcome. Avanash says, I have a career membership in your channel. How could I prepare for Amazon interviewed and improve my branding and LinkedIn? Avinash, if you want to improve your branding and whatnot, and I talked about this a second ago, it would be this one, okay? This is a 50% discounted link for my branding, my resume, and my LinkedIn Accelerator. Basically, you're paying for the price of one instead of two. I would say that the Resume Accelerator is the best digital course that I've done because it took a lot of time. It's very short, by the way. You can get it done watching it, watch and do. Don't watch and forget. Watch and do. Watch and do. You know what I'm saying? Watch it and do it. You have 1 year access to any of the digital stuff, mainly because you can easily download everything once you purchase it, right? Okay. Many people does result in job offer because when I teach you how to create very specific way of bullets and how you should talk about your accomplishment in a way that translate into your stories, that's what you're getting. Okay. So feel free to check that out. That is the direct link right there. Um, my Wi-Fi is really slow, guys. I'm not really sure. I don't know why that is still there, and it is actually bugging me. Let me kill the subscribe button. I'm sorry, guys. No more pressing anything. That is it. Okay. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now. Gorup says, I mean, finance related process like order to cash or accounting relating stuff. I personally cannot give you accounting related stuff. If you're interviewing for a certain role, the first place that I would highly advise all of you guys to go to is Glassdoor. They really should be sponsoring me because I talk about Glassdoor so much, almost every single video in my interview process playlist. Okay. I love Glassdoor because those are from folks like you guys, right? You share your experiences, either current Amazonian, former Amazonian, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? It's all on Glassdoor. I would do that, okay? And figure out. But when it comes to like accounting stuff and all that, they're only going to ask you questions that you come from with your background. If you don't have the experiences, you don't have the experiences. I hope that answers your question. Holly, I'm interviewing for a DIE. What's a DIE? You guys are getting really fancy on the different type of position. I have no idea how to figure out the level. Don't care about the level. Don't even think about the level because level doesn't mean anything. It's about the bar where you will reach during the overall interview process and being evaluated. Okay? There are a few up right now. Would you be interested in going over LPS related to the JDs in these roles? What do you mean by that? Amazon is a company that evaluate you to have all of the core value. We call it leadership principle, core value, same thing, right? If you really think about it, and I want to challenge you guys, okay? If you look at every single one of your answer, one, is it clear who is your customer? Who is your customer? Did you have a result for that customer? Great, check. Two, how were you able to deliver result? I guarantee you, many, if not all of you, can say we did this, we did that. No, I did this and I did that. Okay, so how are you able to deliver and execute? Okay, is it clear? Is it very clear to the interviewer what problem you're solving for? That's it. That's all I'm asking you. If you're able to do those component, I'm not even gonna call it the STAR method. I'm just gonna call it interview ready for now. Okay, if you're able to have that, you will hit the leadership principle 100% of the time. That is why I don't teach people into looking at the 16 leadership principle in every single example 2, 3 times. I don't teach that because I'm trying to save you time in moving fast. Okay? You don't even need that. I think eventually I will need to because the calling is very clear. I'll put a product on the shelf to go through all of the 16 LP individually, and I'm going to integrate and add that into my digital course only. Also my VIP coaching, but I just feel like I didn't do it because the material is all there. It's free, guys. And I realize that a lot of the job seekers are so anxious, and it's because you guys are so ambitious. You don't listen very well and you don't follow instructions very well. So I'm just going to go do it and give it to you and save you time from browsing around or looking elsewhere. Okay? So a lot of the materials are already out there. If you guys look, it's literally right in front of you. All right. Alrighty. I have to speed up a little bit, guys. Okay. I have to wake up my 4-year-old, get him dressed, and run to the airport. So I wanted to help out and pick on those whom I have not shared love yet. Arpitha, hello. I just landed here first time. Well, welcome. You sound amazing already. Thank you. I have a great call for Finn business partner In supply chain, you should watch my replay with Evelina. Actually, there's a making of that video that's coming up on Thursday. Okay, this Thursday, pay attention to the video that's coming out. It's specifically for fin operation for supply chain technology. Can you please tell me which level it could be? Is it a 5 or 6? As mentioned, don't even think about level, because when you guys think that you're level 6, you're probably level 5. When you are a director at whatever company you come with, you're probably level 6 at Amazon. It's not because they want to down level you, it's because the bar at Amazon is really high. Okay. And I just talked about this a second ago, where everything is being evaluated from the moment the recruiter messaged you. Guess what? The recruiter message also goes into your profile in the ATS system. Yes, guys. When you respond to the recruiter email, yes, it get captured, all the communication, written and verbal, into your profile. So don't be upset with the recruiter. Stay professional. All right. That's why you have to be prepared and get in. If you are a level 6, it would say like senior supply chain manager. Okay, for an IC role. But if I were you, honestly, I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't even ask what level this is. Because everything is being evaluated so clearly. I think that of all the FANG company I have worked for, Amazon does a very good job evaluating leveling. Okay, and when it comes to that, they're very fair. Okay, I am speeding through. Cap and Tiara, question: to clarify the above questions, DEI role and HR roles. Hang on one second. Let me make this pretty for you guys. And HR roles seems to have harder to decode JDs. Also, matrix in these roles are harder to quantify. Not really. Let me give you an example, okay? My stories seem to not so much context, aka too long. Well, if you're talking about HR roles seems to be harder to decode on JD matrix, that's not true. Okay, there's a lot of matrix in the HR role. Basically, how are you able to paint? How are you able to dissect in solving business problem? What data? What are you looking at? What historical data? I'm hinting you. What historical data are you looking at? And how do you build a business case to solve a problem for your internal custom, which is hiring teams, right? Like finance, tech, sales, marketing, G&A, acquisition, so on and so forth. The data is all there. I think that when you guys feel that interview is really hard, it's because you don't know what you don't know. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's very easy. Don't overcomplicate things. Just simply take a step back. Oh, my candle's not in front of me today. Light a candle and start creating your story. The hardest part for you is starting. You can have really long-winded story, so redo your story 2 times, 3 times, 10 times? Do it 10 times. But you cannot speak more than 1 minute. 45 seconds is a hot speed. You think I'm crazy right now, but every single soul who landed a job offer does not go past 1 minute. People get bored so fast and they're not going to listen. They stop listening to you, okay? Even if you have a really strong ROI, now they're going to waste their time to ask you probing questions that you have already shared with them because they ain't listening to you. Okay. That's why you need to get to the result as quickly as possible and work backward. It is an Amazon trick that I've learned. Let's just say I don't know how to create a time where you solve a problem with using data or no data matrix. Great. Okay. Now work backward. If you think about the top business impacts you made, just pick one of them. Let's start with just one. Not all, just one. Okay, that is the ROI. Now work backward. How did you get there? How did you figure out what problem that you're solving for? How did you come up with the solution once you've discovered what the issue is? Did you leverage someone to help you get there? How did you get there when you get there? Okay, be very, very specific. When we are specific, we don't sound generic. When we're generic, Amazon does not hire general or generalists. Amazon likes to hire expertise, okay? And you got to ask yourself, looking in your story, in your background, and checking out your own credential, your resume, right? What are you an expert of? Because Amazon can figure that out in the loop interview. Quite a few of you guys are asking me about leveling. I don't know what level this is that I'm interviewing for. Don't care about that. because if you got the experience, it will move you into the right path. Elizabeth, how are you, everybody? Please say hello to our program manager, Amazonian in the house. How are you, my friend? Okay, Anu. Two more and then we have to wrap this up, okay? Anu says, "Hey Holly, does one get placed in a particular level like 6 based on the number of years experience or role or something else?" That's a great question. Okay. Um, just because you have 15 years experience does not make you a level 6. So what a recruiter does and a hiring manager does is that when they look at your credential, they look at how many years of overall industry experience, but how many of those years have you actually done and performed in the role? Okay? That is why your verbiage and your vocabulary and your business acumen of what you have done in your resume really matters. Okay? Really, really matters. That is, love your little emoji icon. Okay. Jay says, do bar racers interviewed all candidate or is it based on specific position level? The bar racer has changed. Back then, there's no bar racer for even level 4 because it is a junior position. Now there's a bar racer even for level 4. Unless that has changed, but bar racers will, unless you are a new graduate, an intern and all that, there's no bar racing. But from the moment you are an industry hired, yes, there will be a bar racer in there. Um, and this is the last questions, okay? Ooh, HB. HB says, I had loop interview last week and waiting responses in the few days. I offered job. Can you negotiate on work from home option? Thanks for all your help. Well, it depends. There's nothing wrong with asking, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong. There are some roles within Amazon that are remote 100%, by the way. And everything that I'm sharing with you guys are public information. And please, guys, do know that I do share a lot of content. I have about 180 videos I've done in the last 2.5 years. Everything that I share is based out of my own authentic personal experiences. So take everything with a grain of salt. I just wanted to be very real and very authentic to share everything with you. Bringing on guest speaker, including Elizabeth. We actually have a video where I interview her in the entire process in how she was able to land a job at Amazon as well. Okay, thank you. And Elizabeth says a bar racer is included in the loop interview. Yeah, in all loop interview except new grad and interns. Okay, well, thank you so much for all of you new faces that are in here. Don't forget my normal stream is actually at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, I will see you all next week. Be well and take care.